So I called my husband. It was just like any other week at dinner. I made a crack to our friends like, he can't even fix a sink. Everyone cracked up, except for him. A few days later, the divorce papers showed up and my friends were all avoiding me after he showed me that I was actually the joke. Okay, so I'm Sarah, 34, and my husband, Michael, he's 36. We'd been married for 9 years. Looking back, I guess I always took him for granted. Michael works a good job, makes a decent living, and he's always been pretty chill, not like a take-charge kind of guy. My friends' husbands are those types. You know, the guys who build stuff and work on cars. Michael is more into reading and chess. I thought that was cute once upon a time. Last Friday, we were having our monthly dinner with my best friends and their husbands, 8 couples including us. Somewhere between the second glass of wine and the dessert, the talk turned to home repairs. My friend Jessica was going on and on about how her husband redid their whole bathroom. Then Claire started in about her husband putting in new kitchen cabinets. I don't know what got into me, but I just blurted out, "Oh my God, Michael wouldn't know a hammer from a screwdriver." I laughed. Everyone laughed. I have to admit I was totally loving the attention. Last month our kitchen faucet was leaking and he just stood there staring at it for like 20 minutes before calling a plumber. The plumber fixed it in 5 minutes. It cost us $300 for something a real man could have handled. Jessica kind of snorted into her wine. So remember that time we had to move the couch? I totally rolled my eyes, like dramatically. Oh my gosh, it was awful. He hurt his back trying to lift one end seriously. We had to call my brother to come and help. And it wasn't even that heavy, honestly. Everyone else was cracking up, laughing their heads off, except Michael. He just stared at me, then slipped away to the garage, saying he had to check something. I didn't even really pay attention. I was too busy telling everyone these hilarious stories about how clueless he is around the house. I'm being serious, though sometimes I felt like I'd married a teenager who'd never learned how to do anything. He's a sweetheart, but totally useless when it comes to practical stuff. The party went on, and I was like the center of attention as usual. Michael came back 15 minutes later, quiet as a mouse, and just sat there for the rest of the night without saying a word. Everything seemed normal for a few days after that. Michael went to work, came home, the usual routine. Then Wednesday I walked in and there was an envelope on the kitchen counter, divorce papers. My hands were shaking so bad when I called him. He answered right away. "You got them, Michael? What the heck is this about the dinner party? I was kidding," I said. He laughed. It wasn't his normal laugh, though. It was darker. "Kidding? Like you've been kidding our whole marriage," he said. I was completely lost. "Check your bank account, Sarah," he said. I opened our banking app. My personal account showed $126.32. "Where's my money?" I asked him. "Your money? You mean the money I've been putting in your account for 9 years?" he replied. My heart just sank, you know, all the money you were blowing while putting me down to your buddies. Michael, seriously, I thought. It all clicked that night at the dinner party, Sarah. You never really gave a damn about me. You think I'm some kind of wimp because I don't act like your version of a man. Well, I'm over it. Later that night, my phone started blowing up, but it wasn't what you'd think, them calling to be supportive. They were pissed. "You absolute bitch," Jessica practically yelled when I picked up. "How could you do this to him?" Turns out, Michael sent them all something after the dinner party, screenshots. 9 years of group chat messages where I was making fun of him behind his back. Just totally trashing him, ripping on his interests, his body, everything. I couldn't even remember writing half of it. "You told us he cried during sex," Jessica went on. "That was a lie, right?" He told us the actual story, that he cried when your dad passed away because he was the only one with you at the hospital. And you turned that into some joke about him being weak. My whole social life just imploded in a day. Things got even uglier when update 1 dropped 3 days later. Oh man, so much worse. Remember how I said Michael worked in the tech world? Turns out he's not just some average tech support dude. He's a cybersecurity expert who makes $350,000 a year plus stocks and consulting gigs. How did I not know this? Because I never bothered to ask. Because I skipped all his work events. I was so busy blowing our money on fancy brunches, laughing with my friends about his dead-end job, I never noticed anything. He'd been putting 40% of his paycheck into our joint accounts religiously. The rest, savings, investments, property stuff I had no clue about. And get this, in our state, what he owned before we got married isn't automatically ours. He bought the house before we tied the knot, and my name's not on the deed. I was living in his house, making fun of him to his face the whole time. He also owns a 12-unit apartment building, 3 rental houses, a ski condo, and patents on some security software. My lawyer basically told me I'm screwed. Maybe 18 months of alimony tops because I have a degree and a job history. But the worst part? That clueless guy I ridiculed. He kept records of everything, emails to my sister calling him a loser, Recordings of me and my friends cracking jokes about his, small dick energy. All thanks to that Amazon Echo in the living room, he set it up and kept it running. A week later, update, I'm crashing at my sister's because I can't even pay the mortgage. Michael's back in the house. Legally. It's his house, after all. He's got all the legal paperwork to prove it. And the kicker, that leaky sink he couldn't fix. He sent me a video of him completely redoing the whole bathroom. Turns out he just shut off the water to the old sink. He'd make me call these super expensive plumbers over and over just to watch how I'd freak out when he'd secretly fix the problem right before they got there. I never even caught on to what he was doing. Remember that couch thing? He sent me the security camera video. He picked up that damn couch all by himself and put it exactly where I wanted it. Then he chilled, waited for me to get home, pretended to be struggling, and suggested I call my brother for help. He was trying to see if I'd make fun of him to my family, and I did. Yesterday, my sister showed me his Instagram. He blocked me. It's all full of his woodworking stuff, vintage cars he'd fixed up, and that freaking cabin he built himself in the mountains. He has like 80,000 followers. He was living this whole other life, this secret life, while I thought he was just my dorky, clueless husband. All those work trips he'd take. Those were speaking engagements where companies paid him 10 grand a pop just to talk about his work. And here I was telling everyone how I had to simplify everything for him. Update 3 weeks later. I'm basically persona non grata now in our friend group. Last night was Jessica's birthday party. I wasn't on the guest list, but I saw the pics online. There was Michael surrounded by all my old friends. They put up videos of him fixing Jessica's broken cabinet at the party. The comments were savage. How did Sarah not see what a good guy he was? Imagine having a brilliant husband and calling him useless, lol. Best thing that ever happened to him was ditching that toxic wife. My own sister, of all people, had the nerve to comment. She always thought Michael wasn't good enough for me. Seriously, thanks for still helping Dad with his computer, even after all this crap. That's when I completely lost it. I drove straight to the house, our house, where we'd lived for 9 years and 8 months, and practically begged him to talk. Michael opened the door, and wow, he looked different, all confident, and I don't know, he just seemed taller somehow. He said, "Sarah, what do you want?" I stammered, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." And he just hit me with, "That's the whole problem. You didn't know because you never tried to know. You built this whole image of me in your head that made you feel better than me, and you just stuck to it." Then he showed me his phone, receipts, from couples therapy, 3 years ago, sessions I skipped because, in my mind, we were totally fine. While I was gossiping about him to my friends, he was trying to save our marriage all by himself. A month later, the settlement was finalized. He offered 18 months of alimony, $300 a month, plus a $30,000 lump sum. My car, which I just found out he'd paid for entirely. He didn't even ask for any of my debt, which was a shocking $40,000 in credit card bills I'd kept secret. His lawyer also dropped the bomb about my affair. Remember those girls' trips to Vegas? He had everything: hotel bills, photos, even the Uber receipts showing me getting dropped off at some guy's house at 2 a.m. I'd been cheating for 2 years with my personal trainer. Michael knew the whole time. He was just waiting for me to confess or try to use it against him in the divorce. When I tried to paint him as controlling in my original divorce papers, he just laid it all out there. My attorney said it was either take the settlement or potentially walk away empty-handed. 2 months later, the divorce was done and dusted. I got exactly what he'd put on the table. I ended up in a studio apartment, and I'm pulling down $15 an hour working full-time at the shop. Michael sold the house for $875. I figured it was maybe worth 400 grand. He's heading off to another city for a chief security officer gig. 500 grand a year plus stock options. All of our old friends showed up to his going-away party. It was at his mountain cabin, the place I didn't even know existed. Everyone was in these matching T-shirts that said Michael's Real Friends on the front, and We See You on the back. Even my own mother told me she's still talking to him. Turns out, while I was badmouthing him at every family get-together, he was footing the bill for my nephew's coding camp, helping my dad with his retirement, and covering Mom's medical bills when she was between insurance. Mom said he never, not once, said anything bad about me to them. My sister cut me off. She sent me a final text. It said, "He gave you everything and you gave him nothing but crap. Now you've got exactly what you deserve." Nothing, and the guy I was seeing on the side dropped me like a hot potato when he realized I wasn't getting a huge payout. Wanna hear the kicker? He sent me a thank you card after the divorce was finalized. It said, "Thank you for the lessons learned. I hope you find peace with yourself someday." I'm in therapy now. I'm sitting here, barely making ends meet. and I'm still trying to understand why I felt the need to destroy the best part of my life just to feel better about myself. Seriously, if you're a woman and you're reading this, take a good, long look at your guy. Because the dude you're laughing at might actually be thinking several moves ahead while you're stuck playing a much simpler game.